Well, hello and welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori, and today I am joined with Neal Valera, co-founder of Stick Mobility. Hi, Neal.
Hi, thank you for having me, Tori.
We've been trying to schedule this for a while, and it was able to fit in today. And let us know what you were in town doing.
So I was here filming some content for the National Academy of Sports Medicine, using the sticks in a way that their trainers can use them with their clients.
Fantastic. And I know that there's some listeners listening right now thinking, what are these sticks? We're going to get into it because I use them a lot with Andrew when we train up at Performance. Shoot, what the hell is it?
Premier Fitness Systems.
Thank you.
Come on, Tori.
Come on, Andrew.
Jeez.
We got Andrew Hannon here too, the golf fitness professional.
You saw that, didn't you?
I did see it.
Okay, glad you noticed.
Because here's the thing. I mean, I do some research beforehand, and I'm like, what should Andrew's handle be? Which I mean, I could just say golf fitness professional, but you're right. The golf fitness pro sounds better. I like
Does
it.
it pop a little bit?
You know what? It's all marketing.
It is.
Boom.
That's all it is.
Andrew, you have not been on the show since your client, Wyndham Clark, won the 2023 U.S. Open. That was crazy.
It was very nuts. And actually, we were in California when it was happening.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was in a workshop, like more in Laguna area, and we watched a lot of it just like driving around in the car. And you know, Jess was getting involved because obviously she's met him and gets emotionally attached to it. So everyone kept asking like, why didn't you drive down to kind of go watch? It was just, we had so much going on, and it was exciting. I didn't get too nervous until like the 17th hole on the last day.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was quite nervous too.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a professional athlete. He's been working a lot with his mental game, but you know, I knew it was going to happen for him sooner or later, especially with the win, previous events prior to that. But
Yeah.
It was just all due time for him.
So how long have you been working with Wyndham?
That's a good question. I think we're on our 4th or 5th year now.
And leading up to this season, so let's say the past year, did you really know, like, did you know this was coming? Like, did you know, like you just said, that it was just a matter of time?
Yes, just seeing him, how he works in the gym, but then just having conversations with him and how he talks about, you know, he wants to be one of the best players in the world. And this was talked 2 or 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And just knowing, you know, how he preps, invests in his body, his work ethic on the course, off the course, and how he just represents his brand, golf as a business, like it was just due time. I just knew. So after that win in Charlotte, I knew that was just the beginning, but winning the U.S. Open, like that was just crazy.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And I just heard that he has a spot on the Ryder Cup team this year too.
He does. Super exciting. I think he's excited to be part of that, and that whole team deal is a pretty crazy experience. So I think he's excited, and obviously starting FedEx next week because he's top 5 right now, so he's in a good spot.
And just out of curiosity, what's his workout routine like? Like, how often is he coming to the gym to work out with you? Obviously, he travels a lot, so how much is he doing while traveling?
Yeah, so when he's in town, I mean, he's in the gym every day. And really, it's a lot of communication on how he's feeling, because it could be, you know, he's in town for a week after being on the road for 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he goes back to Colorado because he has some professionals he works with, just more like body work, PT stuff. And then he does have someone on the road who's a TPI guy, Dr. Harry, who he does more on the course stuff with and like in the trailer. Mm-hmm. But when he's with me, again, it's this understanding how he's feeling, what his next week looks like if he has an event. And if he doesn't have an event and has like a week off, like we'll get after it a little bit. Like this week, he's had a lot of travel. I'm only seeing him 2 days, so it's just, and obviously it's FedEx starting next week. Mm-hmm. So today is some explosion work and kind of getting after it a little bit. And tomorrow I'll work with them and just kind of more of a regen, push-pull, kind of some core work just to get him prepped for next week.
Yeah. Are you ever concerned about doing moves that might make him sore at this point? Or does it, at a certain point, do you stop getting sore, or are you?
No, I mean, I kind of know his body pretty well, and he's good at talking to me of, you know, letting me know, it's like, hey, I don't have much going on. I can get after it a little bit. Like I could be sore. He's good with talk to me about that. But there's other strategies I know that, okay, I probably shouldn't push him here too much. especially if I know he's going to play that day or practice a long time when he's in town. But if he's like, hey, I'm not going to touch a club all week, I don't have an event next week, that's where I know like I can kind of get after it a little bit.
So we have Neal here today. I wanted to bring you in because I really want to know the backstory on how these mobility sticks came about. They're really cool looking. I mean, when I go see Andrew and we do one of these moves, I'm like, get out your video, Andrew, because I'm looking pretty cool right now. And sometimes I'm not, but and again, this episode is on YouTube, so you can go check it out on YouTube also to kind of see what we're talking about. But the product is called Mobility Stick. Tell us how it all got started.
So in 2013, so I'm a personal trainer. I've been a trainer since 2007. In 2013, I learned stick stretching from this doctor in Santa Cruz. And from there, it was mostly passive stretching using the leverage of a dowel. Anything. You could use a dowel, you could use a bamboo rod, and it was good. And we learned a lot. But then we started to add in more strength elements, isometrics, some of the stuff I've learned, through strength and conditioning. And then we needed something more sturdy. So we were like, okay, let's try some bamboo. Tried bamboo, that would flex and it would stay. So we were going through bamboo sticks or rattan sticks. Like, that's not going to work. Let's just try some PVC. So we use PVC. Thing with that is it does work, but it's brittle and it can shatter.
Yeah, I would
imagine. And that's not something we want to do. And initially we just started this to use with our clients. And again, just wanted group classes.
The problem you're trying to fix is?
So we want people to move better, become more capable, stronger, and through our own training with our clients, me and my business partners, we found that the best way, you combine flexibility and strength, which is mobility. So we want people to be more capable and do whatever they want to do, whether it's golf, hiking, it doesn't matter. And so the sticks, what they allow us to do, they help us get into certain ranges of motion and we can create tension there. So we have the leverage. So maybe someone's not able to bend a certain way, so we can use the sticks to kind of ease them in. And then once they feel really comfortable there, they breathe through it, then we can start to add in some tension by pushing the stick into the ground, flexing the stick, and from there they're able to start learning how to control these positions so that they can get in and out of different shapes.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I interrupted you. After you realized the PVC pipe was not going to work, where'd you go to next?
So then one of my clients, he works in aerospace engineering, and he's got all these. It
always goes to the spaceships.
Yeah. So it's made of spaceship material. So he was able to find a special blend of plastics and then create it. So he made a prototype. So we started using them. These are awesome. And we basically just had tennis wrap when we first started.
So like tennis grip at
tennis grip, and we just wrapped it manually. So we had a couple prototypes, and we were just posting stuff on social media of our classes, what we were doing with our clients. And so one of the head strength coach of the Cincinnati Bengals saw it and was like, "This is awesome,"
Wait, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals?
Head strength coach.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it's
Marv.
What was his name? The old coach?
Oh, Marv Lewis. Is it Marv Lewis?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, are we starting to talk about Bengals
talk
talk here?
So the former head strength coach, Chip Morton, he saw us using the sticks, and some of it was bamboo sticks, but we ended up making this prototype. And then they came, so I'm in the Bay Area. They came to play the 49ers, and he asked if we could meet up. So we took him through a 2-hour demo of everything we did and what we were teaching. He loved it. He said, "Do you guys have a certification course?" Nope.
So the next day, start outlining.
And it's basically like, hey, if you guys are able to create one, get it accredited, I'll bring you in. You can train our whole staff. So that happened, and it kind of set things in motion, and we were able to get in front of different professionals and professional trainers, physical therapists, chiropractors, and they were able to see that it kind of bridged the gap between rehab and strength and conditioning. So depending on the your intent of how you want to use the sticks, you can go on the rehab side. You can use it just for basic fitness, or you can go for high performance.
Okay, so I'm always really curious on the business side.
Yeah.
So when did you finally get this finished product where it's not tennis grip around it at the end?
Well, as a golfer, I'm like, why don't we just use a solid unit like a golf grip? So then they were able to find the right material, and then we have these little dots in them, so you have tactile feedback in your hand. So it just gives people better body awareness, because ultimately we want people to have really good body awareness, because if you can understand where you are in space, then it'll transfer over to whatever activity or athletics you like to do.
Absolutely. So how long did it take from coming up with this idea, using all the different types of materials, to now having this finished product?
So we sold the ones with tennis wraps initially, and we did that for probably a year. And then there were problems because they would unwrap, and you're like, okay, well, you have to go buy tennis wrap and
Yeah,
regrip
and
it.
that's
but
probably not
that's not
well
not
received
good,
with the
right?
customer.
So
Yeah.
we're like, well, why don't we find something more durable, like a golf grip? And they got it in one shot. So
Yeah.
that was So probably within a year and a half, 2 years, we had these grips out.
And did you know when you started making this product and creating it, was the goal to have it be where it's at today, or was it more of like a hobby at first because you just needed something for your training?
Yeah, when we first started, it was mainly just, hey, we were using this for our clients, and let's create some groups and some classes, so you can make more money, big groups.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is awesome, and that was it.
Yeah.
We had no intention of turning this into, where people are using it all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I saw a video with Erica Larkin using it, and that's how I found out about it, and with working with Andrew. And it's definitely, they're interesting. It's tougher to manipulate than it looks. Like some people, I guess you really have to be, I guess it will work. I don't know. How was it? Let me backtrack. How was it? So you have this product. I imagine shipping it is an ordeal, and then you have 2 different sizes because some need to be taller for taller.
We do. We actually have 4 different sizes. So,
Oh, really?
So if you were to buy a bundle, there's 2 long sticks and then there's a short stick. So the short sticks we're using for joint mobility. It's just a little bit easier to control if you're using stuff for your wrist, elbow, shoulder. And then we have the 2 long sticks, and those are based on height. So if you're 5'9", shorter, then you'd use a 6-footer.
Yeah.
But these are the most versatile ones, because even if you are taller, you could prop them up on something solid. And then we have the 2 7-footers, which are for anyone above 5'10".
Yeah. All right, let's get into mobility then. So what was your definition of mobility?
Basically a combination of strength, flexibility, and coordination, motor control.
When does mobility, at what age does it start to go downhill? Or is it something that you're constantly having to work at just as a human? Like if there are kids that are not active and playing sports, are they going to be less mobile, or is it more of an age thing, you think?
I mean, I think as you age, things will naturally degrade a little bit. But if you keep using your body and exposing it to different ranges of motion, like you'll see. So I rock climb a lot, and I'll see rock climbers in the gym that are 75 years old, still going through full ranges of motion. They may not be at the same level they once were, strength-wise, explosiveness, but they can still move really, really well. So to me, it's that kind of use it or lose it. If you can still be pretty mobile and capable, till your last day.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into golf terms. Andrew, the golfers that you work with, how often are you using the mobility stick? What is it helping you as a trainer with the most?
Yeah, I mean, I bring them out quite often, especially if I'm trying to teach or coach a certain rotational move. And like what he said, using leverage to understand, okay, where's the rotation coming from? Especially with golfers when they need some side bend with rotation, where a lot of, especially older players, like you said, start to get a little bit older, they tend to rotate more like this way, so they don't have the capability to side bend from their rib cage. So adding the stick mobility, I can place it based on again how their shoulders move. Some I like it behind, sometimes I like it in front, and just see what it looks like from a manipulation standpoint, from a staggered stance, like a lunge stance, even like seated. And it's just good like feedback for me to kind of see where the ranges are, and then using it to find a range of the rotation and then be able to bring a little bit of tension, like almost just holding the stick as they're rotating. And like what he said, using isometrics to help them get a little bit further. So that's a good way to train rotation, especially those that don't have that capability very well.
When we're talking about someone with limited mobility, what are you seeing the most out there? What goes first? Or if someone were to walk into either of your gyms and they haven't worked with a trainer in years, what are you focusing on first, do you think? Is it more a general thing? If they really are they're a golfer, that goes without saying.
I think for a golfer, first I want to see just how physically in shape they are, because it is a 4 or 5 hour round. So if they're completely out of condition, I mean, that takes a lot of precedence. And then we can start, while we're working on their basic, cardiovascular system, their strength, and at the same time, we can target the areas that are limited for them. So, a lot of times you'll see hips, shoulders, and then your spine.
And how about you, Andrew?
Yeah, same. There's some players that walk in. I work with a lot of 50, even like 6-year-olds. It's just like I see them 2 or 3 times a week and watch how they move, but they play 4 to 5 times a week, right? So they're capable of accomplishing the golf swing and moving, but it's just like they come in the gym and I try to get them to move a certain way, and it's just like, God, how do you play golf? Like, I don't understand. So just from a lens of trying to get them to move better, like you said, hips, spine, but also just really throwing in some fitness qualities that help them get more in shape sometimes leads to more range of motion without even adding too much mobility or stretching type like specific drills. Just getting them moving to a fatigued state, or even just get them in shape, kind of helps them understand, okay, the range of motion that they do have.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that if you have limited mobility, it's pretty hard to get stronger in a certain area?
It's hard to get strong in like the deeper ranges of motion.
Yeah. For
sure. But some people have limited mobility, but with that limited mobility, they're freakishly strong at the same time.
Yeah. And sorry, I know this is a basic question, but again, we might have listeners out there that have never even thought about going to the gym in a sense where this will help me become a better golfer. So how can working out and working on your mobility, using a product like the stick mobility, and just, working with a professional, how can that improve your golf game?
Well, first of all, when you're using the sticks, the training program is very scalable. So no matter what fitness level you're at, you can add as much stability as you want. So, one of the big drills we do is a lunge position, and we start out with our hands up high. So you're basically hanging on the sticks. And when you're hanging on the sticks, it takes a lot of the load off your legs. So you're able to feel, okay, I feel comfortable in this position. It's giving me balance. I'm not going to fall over. At the same time, because you don't have enough strength in your legs, you're pulling down on the sticks pretty hard. So you're working your grip, you're working your arms, and then from that position you can rotate, so you can start to, feel some freedom in your spine, your torso, get your arms overhead, which is a big thing in golf. But just that general leg strength transfers to golf big time, whether it's walking the hills or creating more power in the golf swing.
Yeah. And Andrew, I could come firsthand. When I am consistently seeing you, I feel almost like my golf swing is more efficient in a certain way. And you can't really, it's just a feeling out there where everything just feels stronger and more, again, the sequencing is just more on, because I feel like when I'm working with you, we're constantly working that rotation, and I'm activating probably my core, which I don't like to do a lot, And so it's just, you just really do feel so much stronger out there.
Yeah, I think knowing your body pretty specifically, working together for so long, but then for you and even a lot of the women, like we talked about hypermobility too, and still using the sticks, again, not to like create too much range, but sometimes I use it to like limit the range a little bit, if that makes sense. So I mean by hypermobility, where you kind of a lot of players might have so much rotation to the point where it's limiting them to create power. But also, so bringing in the sticks to kind of limit that range, again, bring some isometrics into it, but also knowing how to hold like a stable position with your lower body, right? So then adding the sticks and leverage to do that, and then fire up the core. I mean, that's pretty much, if we're thinking golf swing, that's an impact position, right? So if you don't have enough stability at that impact position, and you're pretty mobile already, then that's where a lot of compensations can happen. So just bringing in even stick mobility to provide some stability as well, really helps.
Yeah. And Neal, you're going to do a couple demonstrations for us in a bit.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to get to that, but since I have two fitness professionals here, let's talk about cardio. What's your opinion on cardio?
That's such a loaded question. No one going to ask.
I know.
You want to go
Like
first?
cardio for what?
Like how important, like when does cardio come into being important? Like what's cardio important for?
Yeah, this is tough because right now the big, I don't want to say trend, but a lot of the phase right now is a lot of zone 2 training. Right?
No idea what that
so
is.
Zone 2 is just like heart rates, it's at a conversational pace, right?
Okay.
Where it's just like if we're walking, we can have a conversation, we're in zone 2.
Yeah.
But it's for a longer duration of time. This is like 40 to 45 minutes of just that same
Wouldn't
pace.
someone say that's like a golf round if you're walking?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
now putting it into that's like a workout session where, again, you might do like 45 minutes of zone 2 training. All the research shows that it's just for heart health, longevity, it's really good. I think people have problems with nowadays that it's too boring,
Yeah.
unless they're doing something outside. If they're on the treadmill, they have to have some sort of like feedback of like a show or a podcast or listen to music to be able to do
Yeah.
that zone 2 training. And it's recommended to do 2 or 3 times a week. But again, it's just like you feel like you're not being pushed, so then they try to like inch a little bit further where it's like, okay, now heart rate's coming up. You start peaking up into like zone 3. Yeah, the benefits are there, but then the benefits of zone 2 are kind of gone. So with cardio, conditioning, like it's important. And if we're looking at even like strength training, like it helps with recovery. If you have a good cardiovascular system and your conditioning's there. So it's important, but it's always, what's the goal? Are we just look to do cardio for weight loss, to train for a race? There's so many different variations of it.
Yeah. What do you think, Neal?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what he said, I do think it's really important. Heart health, blood flow, recovery, like that zone 2 stuff is important, and even zone 1, which is even like a lower end. But yeah, you can get a lot of that through golf too. If you're walking, if you're carrying your bag or pushing the cart. And I know right now in Arizona in the summertime, that's not an option.
Not in the middle of the day, no.
But a lot of people, especially if the golf course they play at is hilly, they are getting a lot of that zone 1, zone 2, because they're out there for 4 hours. So I think for a golfer that's already walking a lot, that area of cardio is already taken care of.
So you can
And
almost check that box.
You can check that box, and what they'll get more benefit of is not zone 3 or maybe zone 4. I think zone 3 you can kind of skip.
Yeah.
Right, and I think they can get more benefit out of like the higher intensity stuff. And maybe they want to do less load, so they can go get on like an air bike. They don't have to go run sprints or do anything like that. Something that's easy, where they can push themselves hard. Because at the same time, like sprinting in general is good for power development. So whether it's on a bike or, I don't know, I've never been sprinted on an elliptical, so maybe you could do it, but like an air bike, I mean, there will be transferred to, a more powerful golf swing too.
Yeah.
Jumping.
Jumping's awesome. Yeah.
That's Tori about jumping.
You
Like
jump a
jumping
lot?
on a
She
box?
hates jumping.
Yeah.
Well, it's
A lot of
scary.
your audience hates jumping.
A lot of the audience hates
Yes,
jumping.
and
Yeah,
clients
because
that we mutually know does not like to jump in the gym.
it just seems like I won't make it on top of the
But
box.
then you have the box. We've done certain jumps before where it's like the box is not very high and have you
Yeah.
jump a certain way.
Yeah.
Softbox?
I don't know. Is it a
Or
soft
like a low level box where I'm having her push off the box into like a lateral jump,
Okay.
landing on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, let's get on the good side of it. So what is it when golfers train regularly? and they play regularly, what is something golfers have a leg up on? Like, what are they really good at?
Like in the gym sense, or
Yeah, just like what, like, yes, if they have a lot of power and they're very efficient with their swing, what about their training has made them really good at that? Or what has gotten really strong in their training?
I mean, I think a really powerful golfer, it's hard to say what they're doing training, but like the qualities that they have, they can definitely get into a good position, right? A good golf position, hit all the angles. So they have enough strength and mobility, but they have super powerful legs, right? So they could probably jump fairly well, maybe sprint, but they have this connectedness, right? So they're able to coordinate and, and we'll call it like a pulse, but basically they know how to transition from, their backswing to their downswing really, really quickly. So they can transfer all that energy well.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all different shapes and sizes out on tour.
Totally.
On the women's tour and the men's tour. And would you say that if you are at that elite, professional, or even collegiate level, you have some sort of fitness program that you're following? Or
I'd say they should,
yeah.
but, some of those people are really, really good athletes, and all they do is play golf.
They're just naturally talented.
Absolutely, and you could say that across a lot of sports, and golf's not as physically. It is physically demanding. It's very powerful, but the other sports, you're cutting more, jumping more, and
yeah.
So you're developing all this stuff better. But yeah, a lot of these, I know a lot of golfers that don't train at all. I'm like, they're just really good, really powerful.
Totally agree.
But they could enhance it even more if they train.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone that said that the golfer's not an athlete?
I'd say they're wrong.
Do you like to golf, Neal?
I do, yeah. I do.
Do you ever get frustrated out on the golf course?
Oh, all
Or
the
do you not?
time.
Oh, all the time?
Yeah. Yep.
Andrew, when was the last time you played?
It's been a while.
It's been a
5
while?
months, yeah.
Just been busy.
Been busy, focused on other things. Golf's always going to be there, so might as well get out of it by training golfers and just live through them.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that today was a big day. You had a couple visitors over at your gym today.
We did. Again, I don't know what I can say because I did sign a waiver. I don't know what that means.
You might have had a show.
Let's say there's some film crew there at the gym today. So
Yeah. Very exciting.
It was exciting. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into some demonstrations. So we have the
Sure.
sticks here. What did you have in mind to show us today?
Well, I want to show you basic leg strength and upper body mobility.
And is this something, because you can buy these online.
You can get these online.
Remind everyone what the website
at
is.
stickmobility.com.
And like I have these at home to use. You probably have a lot of things on your website that
We
people
do.
can follow along.
So we have a big YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram, but YouTube has over 900 different videos,
Okay,
different
well,
body parts, full body, follow along workouts, so all for free.
All right, great. So why don't you show us a couple basic moves
Sure.
and get these things working and we can see. All right, Neal, what do we have going here?
So we've got the 2 long training sticks here. So we're going to work on some basic leg strength in a lunge position, but we're going to show you the most stable position. At the same time, we're going to work on some upper body mobility. So you're going to set up in a nice split stance, and we'll start off really high here, depending on your leg strength. Your hands are going to be up high. I like to pretend like I'm standing on a clock, so I'm going to place one stick at 1 o'clock, one at 11. From here, I'm going to hold on to the sticks and pull them into the ground. And that's going to take some weight off the legs, but give me some stability. Some people get into this stance and they get a little bit wobbly. Now from here, you can start to slowly sink down into lunge. So whatever you're comfortable with. So basically strengthening that quad, that foot, getting into the glute and the hamstring. So you're going to sink down into a lunge position, and you're going to get as low as you comfortably can. So whether you're up here or you can sink down all the way to the bottom, totally fine. We're going to go at whatever level you want. From there, we're going to start to add in some rotations, and this is going to help free up the spine through rotation, also help get your shoulders a little more mobile. So you're gonna pretend like you're on monkey bars. You're gonna push one stick forward, one stick back. So I'm getting a nice stretch through the chest on one side, the lat on the other. And at the same time, as I rotate to the right, I'm gonna load this glute a little bit more. So going into internal rotation, almost like loading a golf swing. And I'm gonna rotate the other way, going into external rotation, like I'm coming out into the downswing. So that's an easy way to start getting into that lunge sequence and strengthening the legs. And over time, just being in that position, you'll get stronger, and then you'll be able to load it with weights. This next drill here, I have Andrew help me out.
All right.
All right, Andrew. Load it with weights. How would you load it with weights?
I was just saying, basically, once you're strong enough, then you can take the sticks away.
Oh, and then just.
Start doing lunges with weights. And
Okay,
moving
so the
with weights.
sticks are here to help you get into positions until you're strong enough to stay in those positions and use.
Yeah, well, you can get really strong just using the sticks, but as a way, like if you wanted to learn lunges in the gym, but you just didn't feel comfortable yet,
Yeah.
you could start with the sticks and finally progress to using weights.
Okay, great. All right, what's next?
So this one here is really good for the golf swing because we're gonna work on some lateral shifting and rotation in the spine. So Andrew, if I could have you set up in a really wide stance facing the camera here.
Oh boy.
All right, you're gonna place the stick just inside your instep.
Yep.
We're gonna take your right hand, we're gonna place it right here. And then what you're gonna do is get this arm nice and straight. I want you to push your hips all the way back into a hinge. And you're gonna keep your head centered right here.
Yep.
So once you feel that, now you're gonna take your left hand, you're gonna reach towards the ground.
This side? Or
Yep,
this right
just
here?
straight towards the ground.
Yep.
So we're getting nice rotation through the spine. Now he's gonna reach over without shifting and grab the bottom of the stick. And then what I want you to do is push that stick into the ground. So we're gonna create some strength there. And then with the top hand, he's gonna pull up. So we're creating strength while he's in this thoracic rotation. And then now he's gonna start laterally shifting side to side. So you're gonna shift all your weight to your left leg. It's gonna increase rotation in the spine, but he's gonna get a nice stretch through this inner thigh. And then he can come back towards me, shift as far as you can, same thing. Maintaining the rotation, but he's getting a nice stretch through the other inner thigh. And then go ahead and come back to center. And you can come out of it.
I thought you were going to make him do a handstand.
Yep.
I was getting
That's
excited.
So that's a great way to start working on some lateral shifting and combining rotation, much like when we're getting into that golf swing, you need to shift into one side while rotating and loading up.
All right, one more move.
Sure. So big thing in golf is side bending, right? You think about side bending, that's our impact position. So one of our big drills is called the bow and arrow. So Andrew, I'm gonna have you set up with your feet hip width apart.
Yep.
We're gonna place the stick at your 3 o'clock. You're gonna have your hand right on the sticker.
Right hand?
Yep, right
Yep.
hand on the sticker. You're gonna take this hand, you're gonna come all the way over the top, thumbs down. Keep both legs as straight as you can. So from here, he's gonna push his hip away. So just there, he might feel a stretch down this entire left side of his body.
Yep.
But now we're gonna push the stick into the ground. So as he pushes the stick into the ground, we're gonna strengthen this whole oblique and lat. And now from here, I want you to push your hip away and then push the stick away and get both arms as straight as you can. Nice. Make sure you're breathing, man. Good. We'll do one more rep. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Come out of it slow and relax. So that's a nice way to create some length on one
doing
side.
Good thing you wore your muscle shirt today, Andrew.
It's on purpose.
And that's, for impact position, it's a really good quality to have.
Those sticks are pretty cool. All right, so what's next for stick mobility?
What's next? So right now we offer a lot of courses for trainers, so they can get certified in that. And we do have some golf programs. So we do have a golf mobility program, but we also have a program for golf technique. It's called Golf Feels. So it's, learning what different positions in the golf swing feel like, or what it should feel like to engage the ground when you're getting into your backswing, when you're going on your downswing. Like, what are the forces that you need to understand and how to apply that? And we do have that program on our website too.
All right, fantastic. All right, so we're going to end with this. So let's say, I'm like super hyper focused on becoming a better golfer. And so I'm like willing to do all the things to make sure that happens, except show up an hour early to warm up. Anyways, so how about the listener that's listening that's not as hyper focused as me? Okay. But they're getting a little older. They haven't lifted a weight in a while. Can we just remind the audience the importance of strength training and what the benefits are going, as you're getting older?
I mean, I think just from a capability perspective, not just in golf, but everything you do in life, like getting out of your car, getting up and down off a chair, fall prevention, that ability to be in your car and rotate and pick something out of the back of the car, lifting your arm overhead, just basic daily movements that we take for granted sometimes. And if we can keep that, then we'll just have a better quality of life.
Andrew, what do you got?
No, I totally agree. I like where you went with that, and to stop thinking like I don't want to do this just for golf. Like have a big picture of like down the road, like hey, I want to play not these short-term goals or performance goals, but I want to play longer, 10 years down the line, right? And that's where strength training, adding drills and tools like this, just to have it all, right?
Yeah.
But I think strength training is just a big one a lot of people miss, or they misinterpret it, where it's just heavy lifting all the time. But when you train with me, it's just like I feel like it's pretty different each session.
Absolutely.
Sometimes that's on purpose, but we see each other, once a week, so it's giving you some variety, but it's still based around your goals, how I see you move, and how I want to see that improved. And on top of, performance goals, like sprinkling that in as too. And then aches and pains that you have, like, a lot of this stuff can help with that,
All right, 2 hot topics here. Does lifting weights as female mean you're automatically going to get bulky? Why is that out there? Why is that misconception out there? Does it really have more to do with diet?
Like bulky in the sense as getting muscular, like really muscular?
Yeah, like some women don't want to have super toned big arms and look more, they have a fear of looking more masculine, maybe. Maybe that's the reason.
I think it's really hard to do that, like just from like a hormonal perspective. But I know a lot of guys that try really, really hard to get muscular and they can't do it.
So is it genetics then? Because there is,
yeah.
I have some friends that work out regularly lifting weights, and their arms never get huge by any means. So is it just a matter of genetics and how much muscle mass you have?
I would imagine if you have extremely high levels of testosterone that it'll be easier to put on muscle mass, but it's still really difficult to do.
And how about weight loss? If someone wants to lose 20 pounds. I'm sorry, but I have 2 fitness professionals here. I got to ask. If you want to lose 20 pounds, what do you have to do? Do you have to bring that cardio into play that we were talking about earlier?
I think we have to look at, again, the overall plan as a whole.
Yeah.
And then a timeline, okay, what's this look like, right? So 20 pounds, how long, like how fast, what's the approach, what's your habits currently? So it's just like there's so many variables that have to come into play for weight loss and even gaining muscle or, getting bulky that women are afraid of doing. But again, it still has to have some sort of plan in place. So it has to take, nutritional habits, sleep habits, recovery, strength plan, cardio plan, but then factoring in, okay, what's your life look like outside of that?
Yeah.
So that's where,
It's a huge commitment.
it is.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
And then if results aren't quick, then it's just like, that's when it's like, oh, okay, I'll just give up. I'll try something new next time.
Yeah.
Sticking to a plan for a long period of time usually yields better results if you look at the long-term goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think chipping away at it, like, have that overall plan like Andrew's saying, but then maybe focus on one thing very specifically for that particular month. Like, because if, say you lost half a pound a month, I mean,
That's a big deal.
and you keep doing this for 2 years,
There you go.
Still 12 pounds. I mean, it's not a ton, but at least you're seeing this progress over time. Maybe that turns into 1 pound a month at some point, and it's just easier to sustain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thanks for being here today. Neal, thank you for coming in. I know you had a busy day.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, and all links to purchase a stick mobility is in the show notes. Get all the programs. I imagine once you buy the sticks, you get instant access to at least a certain amount of programs, or do we just go to the YouTube channel? Is
Yeah,
that the
so
best
it'll
resource?
YouTube will be the best resource, and then if you want, to access the golf mobility program or the golf fields program, then that'll be on the website.
Perfect. Andrew, thanks for being here. It's been a bit. I actually texted you, was it yesterday? I said, okay, I'm ready again, Andrew.
Yeah, that's how it works.
You
So
know what?
I'll
We
be
go
ready
in
for you.
phases. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes we take
You're
a break
busy.
from Andrew. Sometimes we're full on with Andrew.
Yeah. So
Okay?
I'm
I'm
always
ready to get off the break.
Always ready for you.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.